I had to look this up. So we're going to discuss this free agent signing here first. Erik Gustafsson signs a 1-year deal worth $3 million. So I thought, yeah, Erik Gustafsson, he played for the Flyers before. And then I looked at that Erik Gustafsson, and I'm like, no, not that Erik Gustafsson. So there's two Erik Gustafssons. So if you're a Flyers fan, you're going to look out in the ice and go, hey, can we get him back? No, it's a different Erik Gustafsson. Anyways, so he signs a 1-year, $3 million contract. Of course, he split the season between Chicago and Calgary this past year, and now he is a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. I think this is a really good get. And again, I think that Gostisbehere is likely on the market. There may or may not be takers for that as we thin out the herd in terms of defensemen, and I'm thinking Vancouver might be a good fit for Ghost. We'll see. Because I'm going to talk about Vancouver in this because of trends on Twitter and all that wonderful stuff that's going on. But a good signing for Philadelphia as they basically replace Niskanen with this move. I believe that's what that'll do, is replace Niskanen on the blue line. And for less money than Niskanen made. So, good job there. Joakim Ryan signs a 1-year, $700,000 contract with Carolina. 7th defenseman, decent signing. Again, look for a lot of players to be making $700,000 this year. Keep in mind, 20% of that goes into escrow. Then you've got taxes. You've got other things being held back. They don't actually make the $700,000, but again, comparatively speaking, with most people watching this video, that's a good chunk of change. Now, in the trade news of the day, Devon Toews is a member of the Colorado Avalanche. The Islanders trading him for 2 second-round picks in 2021 and 2022. Lou Lamoriello has been in the rumor mill. Of course, Boychuk is rumored to be potentially on his way out for the Islanders. If they can find a taker for that, maybe Vancouver. I know it's a $6 million a year thing, and no. But the Islanders pick up a couple second-rounders. Toews, restricted free agent. I guess they couldn't connect on a deal. They couldn't make it work. Colorado will. I would expect an announcement from Toews and how much he's going to make with Colorado probably by the time this goes live. That's normally how these things work. Good pickup for Colorado. If you look at their blue line, you look at the ridiculous blue line that the Colorado Avalanche could put together now, it is hard to argue that Colorado doesn't have the best blue line in the NHL. A spot usually taken by the Nashville Predators, I would say that now Colorado, in part due to Girard, who they got from the Predators, this is a great blue line in Colorado. And remember, Bowen Byram should be on the team this coming year too, and he is still an excellent prospect, seen to have tremendous upside. So Colorado is going to be an odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup next year. I'm going to go ahead and say I believe that they should be Stanley Cup champions next year with what they've done, what they've been through, and the lineup they can throw out there. The real question, of course, with Colorado is staying healthy. But adding Toews, having Byram up with the team, and having that kind of depth, that's huge. So Joe Sakic making some smart moves here, which is not unusual. Ever since the Matt Duchene trade, to be honest. Up until the Matt Duchene trade, I had all kinds of concerns about Joe Sakic and worries and belief that he wasn't making decisions quickly enough. But now, playing the long games worked out really, really well for him. Since the Duchene trade, it's been fantastic. So, yeah, solid trade. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comment section below. Now let's talk about Vancouver a little bit more. So Vancouver now has got Fire Benning trending at number 3 in Vancouver on Twitter. I love Vancouver Twitter. And you would think, if you read all this, that the Canucks have just lost absolutely everything from their team. So you lose Markstrom, you replace him with Holtby. You lose Tanev. But Tanev, he didn't miss a game this year. Okay, so I was fine with the Canucks keeping Tanev. Didn't miss a game this year, and he's worth the money that Calgary is giving him. But during most seasons, he could miss like a third of the year. And so the Canucks were having to spend about 30% of their games trying to figure out, what are we going to do now? They lost Stetcher. Stetcher is a third-pairing defenseman. Great guy. Really nice guy. Very popular. I know Detroit's going to love him. Third-pairing guy. They lost Tyler Toffoli, who was a rental from the Kings. It was always going to be tough for them to re-sign Toffoli. We knew this going in. And at the cost of Tyler Madden and a second-round pick, we'll see whether or not that bites them later. Tyler Madden, there's some concern about him having NHL projectable size. And that's one reason why the Canucks were willing to part with him. Not to mention he's a center, and they're pretty loaded down the middle with young centers. So if you look at their top six right now, it looks like it'd be Miller, Pettersson, and Besser, Pearson, Horvat, and you slot in what, Virtanen? Virtanen for all of the, it's weird. Virtanen right now, everybody's hating on Virtanen, and I can't believe we've still got Virtanen. Virtanen had 18 goals last year. And last I heard, 18 goals is pretty good. So for Vancouver, keeping Virtanen to me is a no-brainer. I totally agree with keeping Virtanen if you can and if you can make it work. Do I think that there are perhaps issues with maturity there and all, the character thing? Maybe. Until I hear it directly from members of the team or directly from coaches or directly from anybody that I know that's tied to the team, I'm just going to leave it as a maybe, and I don't know. But I've never directly heard from a source, hey, so Virtanen, they're having major problems with him. So, in all honesty, I think 18 goals and the fact that he's still young, there's no reason to just throw him out. And especially we shouldn't have qualified him, we should have kept Toffoli. Okay, and then Virtanen goes off somewhere else, signs as a free agent, scores 25 goals. Toffoli comes back, scores like 20 goals. Virtanen makes less money than Toffoli, and then a year from now, Canuck fans are dragging Benning because he was stupid enough to give more money to Toffoli than Virtanen, who they didn't qualify, so they lost an asset for nothing. And look, Virtanen's getting more goals than what's being provided by Toffoli, who's older and slower. This is what would have and could have happened. Not my first rodeo. On the blue line, you've got Hughes, Myers, Edler's your top three. Myers had tons of penalties early on in that series against Minnesota, but he got better. As the playoffs went along, he got better. And he is the one big physical defenseman that they have. They need more of that, to be honest. Look at Tampa. Look at what they did to win. Look at St. Louis the year before. Big physical defensemen, they're important. So Edler is not a big physical defenseman. He's going into his last year. Hughes is in his last year before he becomes a restricted free agent. Pettersson's a restricted free agent. Demko's a restricted free agent. All of them hit at the same time. Now, I've got Rafferty as potentially being top four. We heard all year about they need to call up Rafferty, give Rafferty a chance. I saw that a lot from Canuck fans. Rafferty's got to play. Why doesn't Rafferty get a chance? Even during the playoffs, or Levy. Give Levy a chance. Levy's had a good run. So now here we are. We've got potential openings on the blue line, and everybody's panicked. And I find that odd because either you believe in the depth for this team or you don't. And I'm a person that thinks the depth for this team could very well bail them out. In net, they're solid. Holtby and Demko. Even if we can all agree Holtby's best years, let's just say his best years are behind him. Fine. Do we believe in Thatcher Demko? I do. That's why Markstrom's out. If Demko looked like he was a bum, and if Demko looked like it just wasn't going to work out and he wasn't going to be very good, we would still have Markstrom in the lineup in Vancouver. But he's not in Vancouver in part because Demko's played really well. And he played well during the regular season, not as well as Markstrom, but very few did. But Demko's numbers during the regular season were still respectable. And he played pretty well after Markstrom got hurt. And then it was just, I think it was the pressure and just the amount of games he was playing in a row. And I think, that's the learning curve that a young goaltender goes through. So in red over here, I've got Höglander, who when he signed and was coming over, there was a lot of, hey, can Höglander play right away? I don't know, maybe we'll find out. Maybe Nils Höglander can play at the NHL. Maybe he doesn't need time in the American League. Ferland. Is Ferland ever going to play again? We don't know. But Michael Ferland, his contract was signed last summer. Was it too expensive? Maybe, yeah. But the reality is, if he's healthy, if he can go, he probably slots into a top six role. Rathbone, remember when they signed Rathbone and everybody's, Rathbone's going to be great and Canuck fans are going to love him and he's going to be awesome. Where did they go? Is this what happens now? That all the fans that were just saying, this is great, I'm so excited we got these guys, now that we lost players, they're going, screw it, I'm done. That's it, I'm done. Fire Benning. But Benning was the guy that brought some of these guys in and signed these guys. So I am perfectly fine with criticizing him for Eriksson. I'm perfectly fine with criticizing him for Beagle and Roussel and for how much money these guys get. But you also have to give him credit for some of these guys who come in and for getting these guys signed. Cole Lind is a dark horse to make this team as far as I'm concerned because of his most recent season in Utica where he was decent, played well, 44 points and all that. Jet Wu is on the radar as a defenseman down the road and, played for the Hitmen this past year in the WHL, probably needs a year in the AHL, and then we'll see. And then Lockwood. Remember, Lockwood signs, and I kept seeing Lockwood, he's NCAA, he's going to go unrestricted free agent. He won't sign with Vancouver. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now with Canuck fans is that it's an inferiority complex I think that Canuck fans have, that somehow they're not as good, or players don't think they're as good, and players don't want to play here. I don't see that. I don't. And I've seen it in the past. I'm not seeing it now. I think Vancouver is an attractive place to play because you can play with Pettersson, you can play with Horvat, and you've got this guy Quinn Hughes on the blue line. So I do not see this team as being significantly worse off right now than they were, say, 2 months ago when they were in the playoffs. And Vegas was manhandling them. Because the other thing I see is they were one game away from being in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, but a lot of that was the goaltending dragging them there. That was Demko stole games 5 and 6. And pretty darn near stole game 7, except they couldn't get goals. So it's fine to say that Vancouver was one win away and they had this big emotional victory over St. Louis, but we also have to be realistic. This was a team that was not good enough, and to get to that next level, you don't do it in the free agent market. In general, if you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning who just won the Stanley Cup, a big part of it is just they kept that core together, and then they added guys at the deadline that helped them get there. They added little players here and there. They didn't necessarily get those big money pieces on the market, and so that's something to keep in mind, is that very often those big money guys on the market, it's great. It's that big sexy pickup on the free agent day that has your team declared the winner and you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. We may not have that with the Canucks right now, but it's not that bad. At least I don't think it's that bad. And maybe I'm the only one. And it's really weird because for years on this channel, I've been told I am way too hard on the Canucks. I don't have any faith in the Canucks. I need to believe in the Canucks. I'm not really a Canucks fan, and all of this, and yet here I am defending the Canucks roster right now and saying, look, is it bad? Maybe. Does the season start tomorrow? No. Are people blowing it out of proportion? Absolutely. And that's where I'm at right now, and it's really weird because a lot of the same people that stomp their feet during the year that I don't have the Canucks high enough in the power rankings and I need to stop being so hard on my team, I'm watching these guys go and go, well, that sucks. But, oh well, this is hockey and that's how things work. And then everybody else is screaming and yelling and ready to throw things. I don't get it. But that's how these things work. Let me know your thoughts regarding the news of the day. And of course, as I said, locally here right now, the absolute meltdown that fans are having, and they're not the only fan base having it, but locally this is what I'm seeing. It's the meltdown over Vancouver. It's almost comedic to me because it's how Canadian hockey fans react with the fire the GM. That's just immediate. Fire the GM. Sort of like Oiler fans were all excited. Yeah, look at this. Wow, we picked up Barry and we got Turris. That was great. And Ennis is coming back. This is great. What do you mean we signed Mike Smith? That's it. Flip the table, scream and yell. Okay, sure. Never change. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support, helping this channel get to the level it's at now as it keeps climbing. Greatly appreciated. I'll talk to you again soon.